And we all have probably heard the research that shows that public speaking is number one fear, followed closely by death. And we've probably all heard the conclusion to that research, which says that if we go to a funeral, we'd probably rather be the person in the coffin than the person giving the eulogy. But that research didn't take into account 12-year-old boys. Because when I told that story to my 12-year-old son, he looked at me in amazement. "Oh no, Mum," he said. "There's something far scarier than public speaking or death." And I looked at him in amazement and thought, what on earth could it be? Because surely there's nothing worse than public speaking. The zombie apocalypse. Of course, the zombie apocalypse. And note that he said the zombie apocalypse. Not a zombie apocalypse, the. Because to Max, it's real. It's going to happen. The question is, when? And I wondered, does he spend his life looking around for signs of the ubiquitous undead? And when he grabs hold of my arm to get my attention, is he really pulling on it to see if it's going to come off? And does he expect my eyeballs to drop out of their eye sockets when I'm rolling them at my teenage daughter? I think he does, but I think Max would be really pleased when the zombie apocalypse happens, because he's ready and he knows what to do. When the zombie apocalypse happens, you have to get to higher ground. You have to be really quiet, because noise attracts zombies. And you have to have your bows and arrows and your water traps ready, because they are the weapons of choice against zombies. So you see, it makes sense to have a mortal dread of things that are made up, because you can make up the ways to combat them. Whereas reality, much harder to fight back against that. Do you remember, as children, not daring to lie in bed with your arm dangling over the side?
Oh, yes.
Because there's monsters under there and they can pull you under. Well, my son's bed is one of those ones up on stilts, so he's got a lot of room underneath his bed for the bogeyman and Sackman and old Red Eyes. But it's okay, because he's got that sorted as well. I went into his room one day and he'd erected a fortress of pillows all the way around his bed. And I went to move one and he said, "No, Mum," with fear in his eyes. He said, "As long as the pillows are there, the monsters can't get me." I thought, fair enough. So the pillows stayed. And I remember when I was a child, one night I woke up in the middle of the night and I was convinced that a swarm of bees had invaded my bed. I don't know how this happened, but it didn't matter, because once again I knew what to do. I knew that if I inched over to the very edge of the mattress and I lay there absolutely still for the rest of the night, the bees wouldn't be able to get me. And when the sun came up in the morning, they'd be gone and I'd be okay. And so that's exactly what I did. I stayed there all night and I didn't move an inch. And it was a very long, tiring, hot, uncomfortable night.
Yeah.
But when the sun came up, no bees, and I felt really proud that I'd overcome that obstacle. And so I wonder if childhood fears are a way for children to feel resilient and feel that they can overcome those obstacles. Or maybe they're a way of gaining a sense of control. Maybe it's easier to fight the werewolf in your imagination than it is to fight the bullies in the playground. But you see, whatever horrors the childhood imagination can think up. Adults and reality can think of things that are even worse, like making you brush your teeth, doing your homework, or worst of all, having to eat your vegetables. Imagine a child cowering in bed under the sheets, hearing the screech of an owl and the scratch, scratch, scratch of the witch's fingers on the window pane. Terrifying. But not as terrifying as the screech of your mother in the morning, "Get out of bed!" and the scratch, scratch, scratch of the comb through your hair before school. And imagine a child thinking they're going to be abducted in the middle of the night by aliens and probed by strange instruments. Petrifying. But not as petrifying as visiting Great Aunt Gertie at the weekend and being probed by a pair of big, wet, slobbery, whiskery lips. And when I was growing up in the 1970s and the 1980s, we grew up under a cloud, the threat of nuclear annihilation. So better perhaps to worry about the poltergeist that lives in the light bulb, or the lion that might creep up the stairs and get you at night. And so, perhaps as we get older and we have to face the realities of life, we don't need to defeat the things that go bump in the night anymore. Or perhaps we're just too darn tired of surviving reality that we don't have time for imaginary monsters. But next time you hear something that goes bump in the night, and you say to yourself, it's just a possum on the roof, just listen a little more carefully. Could that have been a groan? And might that be the sound of undead feet dragging along the ground? Have your bows and arrows and your water traps ready, just in case.